The thing that we know here that isn't necessarily as apparent in other traditional environments is that how we learn is just as important as what we learn, and how we learn also influences what we learn. So if you think of maybe one of the most important lessons you've learned in life, and I ask you to tell the story of that lesson, you'd probably tell me the story of how you learned it. Here we have the same class of students from kindergarten to first grade, so they stay with the same teacher in the same classroom. And second to third grade, they move up and move to a different teacher, but stay with that teacher for those next 2 years. And then fourth and fifth grade, they stay with that teacher for those next 2 years.
So like at kindergarten, they understand of like kindergartners are kind of crazy, go nuts. So they like incorporate things that you like and do like a lot of like hands-on lessons. And first grade is kind of like the same thing because you're still getting a little adjusted to school, like getting out of that kind of like crazy age. And like second grade, you get a lot more serious, a little less of hands-on experiments, and you start sitting down at the carpet more and doing a little more of independent work. Third grade, it's kind of the same as second grade. It's like these two are the same, these two are the same. But fourth and fifth grade are like the complicated ones because your teacher is trying to get you ready for middle school because he or she knows that it's coming. But it's a lot different from kindergarten. Now we have kindergarten buddies who we read to. We have to know what it's like for them because it was like for us too because we had buddies as well.
It's a great experience, and you know, they're pretty young, and you can teach them like, you know, habits that they'll need in the future, especially when they get into first grade and above, and teach them, you know, things that are not appropriate to do at the time and things that are, and really to have a connection with them is just a really great experience.
They bring us to lunch and they show us what to do. They read us books and then sometimes we read them books.
I get to hang out with little kids and like know what they do and kind of like get a part, like understand like what kind of part of their brains do. Like my buddy, Jaden, he's like very crazy. He loves football because some of my friends, they like football too, and like they like to hang out with him because he's like amazing. And he just like really likes football, and I'm trying to like incorporate something that has football to like help him do this. And there's like a lot of other things that CFI does too, but like I'm really a fan of the buddies thing.
CFI is just one of those places where it feels like a community. It feels like home. When we all get together in spaces where we're learning from each other, we're learning alongside each other, it's not just something that you see from the kids. I love it here because I can also continue to grow as a teacher because the same community that we're building with our kids, we're also building with our colleagues, and we're able to grow and learn from each other and with each other. And so it just really feels like a community where we're all reaching to grow together. Instead of to outdo each other, we're just trying to help each other be better versions of ourselves.
I was actually an intern here my senior year at USC, and so I was super blessed because I was hired after having been an intern. And so I feel like I have a very close relationship with CFI because it grew me from when I was a pre-service teacher and now I'm an educator today. I think what stood out the most to me was the way that every single teacher here was invested in my growth. They poured into me. They had no problem with me coming into their classrooms to visit and to learn and to ask questions. They had no problem when we would reflect together, having me think about my own practices and what I could do better. I had the opportunity to be with kids meaningfully, whether that was conferencing, whether that was helping them get ready for gatherings or share fairs. And so that's something that I feel like I remember the most, feeling so just invested in and poured into, and the commitment that they had to my growth as much as I had, while also being very encouraging in a very authentic way. I think that's what stands out the most to me. And it's something that fueled me to want to continue to grow and, you know, be here and experience that.
So we build really strong classroom communities that way, and then a really strong school community. So you'll find us learning from one another a lot. You'll find us taking up issues and topics that we're interested in. You'll find us researching those, sharing that information with one another, learning the processes for researching that make that research really well evidenced and supported with reasoning and logic, and very well communicated too. All those things matter as a function of how we learn. And we learn to be in community with one another. We learn how to listen so that we're trying to understand and not necessarily just say the next best thing.
I love asking questions, and I love like how people like share new things.
Every day they come in with new questions about maybe what we're learning or something they are thinking about at home or something they're wondering, and as a class we get to explore it together, and it just creates such a meaningful learning space for them, and it's such a welcoming space to their questions, to their wonderings, to their needs. Really all of their interests are welcomed here, and so it's really cool to be able to learn and grow alongside them in a way that's meaningful to not only them but also me, because they're my kids and I love them, and so I love getting to know more about them as we learn about the things that they care about and the things that they love about.
I really enjoy being able to co-create curriculum with my kids and really honor their interest, and because of the freedom that we have here within the structure, we can really pursue those interests in a meaningful way.
I get to ask more questions, and it just feels really good to have yourself heard.
When you first get here, they make you feel really welcome, and for the rest of the year, they make you feel really welcome, and they make you feel really loved and cared for.
There's one really big thing, it's the gatherings. So this week is actually our gathering week. So there's 4 quarters of a year, and we have 2 gatherings per class every year. So it's our second one, and it's our last one because we're moving on to middle school. And so what you do is you basically like sum up of the basics of what have you done for like the past 2 quarters, 1 quarter, week, whatever your teacher really wants. So I'm doing how to like organize essays, and our thought for the week basically is like kind of like a thought, but like a saying that kind of like links to your gathering, but also something you can like share for your class. Ours is trust the process, which means like the process of learning is equal as important as what you're learning. I'm a big fan of the gatherings. You go up there, you speak, like sometimes you can like either sing songs, do skits. It's really cool.
We start kids public speaking when they're 5, sharing what they've learned when they're 5. So by the time they get into 5th grade, like the crew who has gathering this week and who had gathering last week, they're more than comfortable speaking to other people, sharing what they've learned, providing evidence for what they've learned, and even interpreting things in a way that might be different. And it's one of those things that reminded me how many ways there are to know. Yeah, we need to be able to prove those things that we know on a standardized test. We do. But I think it makes life so much richer when we can know in all the ways that human beings can know. And it's important for us to share that together.
One of the biggest responsibilities that we have here is to create citizens who are ready to go out into the world and create change. And our kids start doing that from the very beginning. So I feel like that's something that makes us unique, and that's a special experience that we have here.
I think it's important that people know that all the possibility and freedom and connectedness and things that feel freer, for lack of a better term, aren't possible without a great deal of stability. They're not possible without self-discipline. They're not possible without a classroom community that's well-rooted and well-managed by teachers who have a very strong sense of themselves and a very strong sense of their vision for where they're going and their vision for the children that we have here. The kind of expansion that you see in what's possible, the kind of possibility that you see, again, it's not available without a fair amount of structure.
We're just really a special place, and I think it's because of the way that we care and our commitment to our kids and to our growth and to our community that I think separates us from different places. And you can see it, and you can see it even in the joy that the kids have here with their learning. They enjoy being at school, they know they're important, they know that their voices are heard, and they know they can take what they learn here, and they're confident enough, like I said earlier, to go into the world and create change for issues that are important. And so, yeah, I just hope you see the joy that's here.